Hello everyone, and welcome back to Conspiracy. Today we're going to be going over Tier 3 of the Cryptid Iceberg. There are quite a few in here, and there's actually quite a few that are very similar, if not pretty much exactly the same. With that said, let's get into it. The Pacific Northwest tree octopus was first mentioned in 1998 by Lyle Zapdo. It is purported to live on both land and in water, mostly in the Olympic National Forest and in nearby rivers. Its main and major predator is said to be the Sasquatch. A deity in Aztec culture and literature, a QuasiCodile gets its name from the Nahuatl language and means precious serpent. He is the god of the sun, wind, air, and learning. In 1519, the Aztec emperor Montezuma II believed that Hernán Cortés was the god's return. Vastly misunderstood Cortés's intentions, I think. Scarecrows are often a human-shaped decoy used to scare off birds from farms so that they don't eat the produce. Scarecrows are often used in movies as a living being. Now, scarecrows often, from far enough away, can give you kind of an uncanny valley effect. With this deep-seated fear of things that look like, but aren't, humans, it's no wonder the scarecrows give people the creeps. I mean, look at this thing and tell me you wouldn't be scared if it started walking towards you. Skunk apes are ape-like creatures that dwell in the forests and swamps in the southeast United States, most notably in Florida. The skunk ape is known as the cousin of Bigfoot because it's so similar. The biggest difference between the skunk ape and Bigfoot is that the skunk ape stinks like a skunk. This is perhaps the most famous picture of a skunk ape, and I don't know if creepy starts to cover it. Scary. Like, if this picture is not a setup, I would look at this and then just pee myself. And then I would run as fast as I could for as long as I could, which, if we're being honest, is like 4 miles an hour for 30 seconds, and then the skunk ape would do away with me. The spring-heeled jack is an English entity in the Victorian era. The first claimed sighting was in 1837, and later reported sightings were happening all over the United Kingdom. It was described as having clawed hands and eyes that resembled red balls of fire. One report claimed that beneath a black cloak, he wore a helmet and tight-fitting white garments. Many stories mention a devil-like aspect, while other reports mention that he could breathe fire. At least 2 stories claim that he could speak fluent English. Honestly, it just kind of looks and sounds like a dude playing dress up. Probably the most well-known cryptid on this tier, the werewolf is a human with the ability to shapeshift into a wolf, or a wolf-human hybrid in more modern culture. The transformation can either be on purpose, or after being placed under a curse or affliction, often a bite or a scratch from another werewolf, and the transformation commonly occurs on a night of the full moon. Werewolves are super common in media today. I mean, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Skyrim, even Twilight has werewolves. In Arkansas folklore, the White River monster is a large creature, said to have first been spotted on the banks of the White River near Newport in northeastern Arkansas. The monster is referred to lovingly by the locals as Whitey. Some believe that the monster affected the Civil War. The White River was used for transportation, and the monster is supposedly responsible for overturning a boat. I'm sure most people are at least partially familiar with the Phoenix, as it was popular in the Harry Potter series, and the Harry Potter series, for some reason, was popular. The Phoenix is an immortal bird, most commonly associated with Greek mythology, but has many analogues in different cultures. The bird is associated with the sun, and while it is immortal, it is because it obtains new life from its predecessor. How it dies and is reborn is up for debate, but some say that the bird dies in a glory of flames and combustion, while others say it simply dies and then decomposes before being born again. In 1959, a colonel in the Belgian Air Force at the Kamina Air Base in Congo by the name of Remy van Leeuwen was returning from a mission by helicopter. After they landed, he reported seeing an enormous snake as they flew over the forest. He described it as 50 feet in length, with a 2-foot wide by 3-foot long triangular head. If his estimates are accurate, this would put the snake among the largest snakes that have ever existed. The colonel described the color of the snake as dark green and brown top scales and a whitish colored underside. Ancient astronauts is a theory that says intelligent extraterrestrial beings visited Earth and contacted humans in prehistoric times. The idea is that the contact influenced the development of modern cultures, technologies, religions, and human biology. You can think of this as like the aliens built the pyramids theory, but more than just pyramids. There are potential drawings, as well as writings in books, including the Bible. A man-eating tree is pretty self-explanatory, I think. It's a giant plant in the shape of a tree that's large enough to kill and eat a human or a large animal. The earliest report of a man-eating plant was in an article written by Edmund Spencer for the New York World. The article was first published on April 26, 1874. The tree is said to be in Madagascar, however, Edmund Spencer said he made it up. He missed April Fool's Day by 25 days. 25 days too late there, Edmund. A doppelganger, which literally translates to double walker, is a look-alike or double of a living person who is unrelated to that person. Often portrayed as a ghostly or paranormal phenomenon, the doppelganger is usually seen as a harbinger of bad luck or an evil twin. In other cultures, if you meet your doppelganger, you die on the spot. Being a demon-like monstrous humanoid, a ghoul originated in pre-Islamic Arabian religions. Ghouls are associated with graveyards and the consumption of human flesh. Ghoul is also a catch-all term similar to zombies for kinds of like undead monsters. Ghouls dwell in cemeteries and other places where humans don't generally tend to hang out. Ghouls are also considered a type of jinn in certain cultures. No longer technically classified as a cryptid, the Okapi is an endangered species that looks like a zebra, donkey, deer, antelope mix. However, despite it looking like these animals, the closest living relative is actually the giraffe. It was believed to be a cryptid until the early 1900s when Sir Harry Honston found an Okapi's skeleton and skin and sent it to the British Museum, where it would then be classified as a new species. Wanderlights are atmospheric ghost lights seen by travelers at night. They are most commonly seen in swamps, but are also common in forests and graveyards. Based purely on the name, you can probably guess, but it's essentially just a light that wanders around. They're also known as ghost lights or ghost orbs in the United States. The Ifrit is a powerful type of demon in Islamic mythos, often associated with the underworld and also identified with the spirits of the dead. The Ifrit is a powerful demon who can inhabit desolate places such as ruins and temples, but their true home is the underworld. The Beast of Exmoor is a British phantom cat that roams the fields of Exmoor in Devon, UK. There have been many reported sightings and at least 3 photos taken of the beast. The Daily Express offered a reward for the capture and slaying of the beast, as it is said to have killed over 100 sheep in the space of 3 months. Much like other beast-type cryptids, it has been blamed for multiple livestock deaths. Santer, also sometimes referred to as a wampus, is a mysterious feline reported in the United States below the Masondixie line. It is commonly seen in North Carolina and is rarely considered dangerous to humans, but much like the Beast of Exmoor, it is a frequent predator to livestock. The origins of the creature came from the tales of lumberjacks in the 19th and 20th century. It is said to have a long body covered in reddish hair, a bald head, small eyes, long legs, and a long tail with 8 hard knots in it. The only knots I like are garlic knots. So I wasn't able to find anything on puff spores outside of it's like a type of fungus. Like a fungus will shoot spores out of a hole near the top of it, and the spores are so small that when it puffs it looks like smoke. But that was the only thing I was able to find. If there's something I'm missing, leave it in the comments below. Similar to air rods, atmospheric beasts are flying monsters that are in the sky or atmosphere. According to those who have seen them, they said that these beings are living creatures but break all the rules that biologists have applied to living organisms. They're able to levitate without a need for wings, and their bodies are often depicted as a semi-solid or partially invisible state. So atmospheric jellyfish just kind of falls under the category of atmospheric beasts, but they're often jellyfish-looking creatures, or possibly even UFOs that are seen in the atmosphere. This has been seen by hundreds across the globe, including scientists, military bases, and cities. According to NASA, they actually might be the results of space debris reflecting off the northern lights. This refers to, from what I can tell, avian humanoids, which is just like a person who has like avian-like characteristics, and avian bird-like characteristics. The most famous avian would probably be Ra, the Egyptian god of the sun, as he's often depicted having a falcon's head. The Barnacle Tree is a mythical tree believed in the Middle Ages to have barnacles that open to reveal baby geese. The more I hear of old cryptids, man, the more I think they were just high. The legend might have been started due to goose barnacles growing on driftwood. Albert Magnus denounced the tree as a hoax in the 13th century. However, the tales of the tree were popular among herbalists until the 18th century. Black-eyed children are paranormal creatures that resemble children between the ages of 6 and 16 who have pale skin and black eyes. They are often seen hitchhiking or begging, and are seen on doorsteps of houses asking for food or money or to use the restroom. Some people claim that they've existed since the 1980s, but most sources say they originated in 1996. There are some movies about them as well if you're interested in that kind of media. Like the black-eyed children, the black stickmen are a relatively recent phenomenon. These creatures are described as two-dimensional-like, pitch-black beings. They appear to be two-dimensional, and their appearance always looks the same no matter what angle they're seen at. They range in height from regular human height to dozens of feet tall. Not much else is known about these creatures. While most fairies are not interesting to the cryptozoology community, it doesn't mean that all members of the community kind of poo-poo the idea of fairies. Fairy sightings have been more creepy and disturbing in recent times, and these dark fairies are said to dwell within the earth itself. The Dutch flying jellyfish is a specific atmospheric jellyfish, which we covered earlier, that was pictured by Harry Peterson. It's just a more specific kind of atmospheric jellyfish, and this isn't the last one on the list. The Men in Black are said to be parts of governments across the world that investigate alien and UFO sightings. It's also said that they could be aliens themselves, sent after alien sightings to make sure that the person who saw them earlier never talks again under threat, or is seen as crazy and not reliable with their information. There are like 3 movies about the Men in Black, but quite a few real-life photos of them exist as well. In Alabama, on October 17, 1973, a spaceship was spotted out in a field. The police were called, and the police chief, Jeff Greenhaw, arrived. He didn't see a spaceship, however, he did see something maybe even worse: an alien. The alien was clad in a tinfoil-like substance, but it was intensely bright and described as being as smooth as glass. It moved in a very robotic or childlike manner, as if it was attempting to learn how to move in the current gravity. It then ran away, and Jeff said that it covered 9 feet with every step. He took 4 pictures of it before it ran off. The luck that Jeff had afterwards was horrible. He was fired, his marriage fell apart, and then his house burned to the ground. A flying horse is a horse with wings on it. It can fly and run at incredible speeds. The most famous flying horse is Pegasus, of course, the flying horse that was the horse of Hercules, at least in the Disney movie. I don't know, I'm not caught up on my Pegasus lore. The Michigan Dogman was first witnessed in 1887 in Michigan, USA. It is described as 7 feet tall, blue eyes, however some say amber eyes, bipedal and canine-like animal with a torso of a man and a fearsome howl that sounds like a mix of a howl and a human scream. In 1937, a man in Paris, Michigan, by the name of Robert Fortney, claims to have been attacked by 5 wild dogs and said that one of them walked on 2 legs, and that dog is said to be the Dogman. The NASA jellyfish anomalies are just the atmospheric jellyfish that have been photographed by NASA. The difference is that since these are photographed by NASA, it's a little bit more credible. The last cryptid on this iceberg is in fact another atmospheric jellyfish. It was sighted in Norway on January 20th, 2010. It's called the Norwegian atmospheric jellyfish. It does really look like a jellyfish, as you can see in the picture. However, since it is in Norway is really close to the northern lights, which, if you remember, NASA said this kind of phenomenon is debris reflecting off the northern lights. Alright, we made it through Tier 3. Look forward to Tier 4 coming up. What do you guys think? There was a lot of atmospheric beasts on there, specifically jellyfish, showed up quite a few times. Leave any comments down below if you have any comments. Remember to give the video a like. Remember to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll catch you in the next one.